A number of years ago, some of my Centre for the Edge colleagues did some work around the collaboration models that we see in gaming communities. And I read this stuff actually before I joined the Centre for the Edge last year. And I was quite intrigued at the notion that almost where we see the greatest level of performance improvement across a whole large group of people tends to be in gaming communities. So as a personal experiment a couple of years ago, I decided to test this theory in terms of Angry Birds. So World of Warcraft was what the original study was, but I just felt that I didn't have the time or discipline to get really involved in a World of Warcraft guild. So I thought, I wonder if I could apply this model to learning and becoming an elite Angry Birds player. So the first thing I did was join a community called the Angry Birds Nest. Angry Birds Nest is what can be sort of technically known as an affinity space, but the reality of the Angry Birds Nest, it was set up by a guy and his 4-year-old son because they were playing Angry Birds, but never quite knew how good are we actually performing. Are our scores, our high scores, really up there, or are they sort of just mediocre compared to the best? So he created a system which included blogs, discussion forums, walkthrough guides, but most importantly, the leaderboards and your personal board. So the way the system works is that when you play a level, you put your score in, and then you see how far off you are from the average and how far off you are from the top. So if you're looking to actually improve your overall ranking, you look for those levels where there's the biggest gap between where you are and where the high score is. The other thing that we also do as a nester, as we call ourselves, is when we do get a high score, we jump into the discussion forum and share how we did it. And there's this whole culture of sharing so everybody can improve. And in the few rare occasions that I did actually get the top score all time at that point in time, the first thing I would do would be go and share my strategy. It's often useful as well for being able to say, I'm trying this strategy, but I think it's right, but I'm not quite sure if it is. And seeing other people talk, hey, this strategy, it might take you 200 times to play it, but if you hit it right or you get the right sort of wobble, you'll score the points. So the end result of that was that at a point in time, which has passed on now, I was rated 85th in the world in the Angry Birds space community on the Apple Game Center, and that was out of about, I think, 2.5-3 million people. So I really started to, by immersing myself into a game community, learn how the notion of personal dashboards, my own data, collaborating and sharing with other people who were passionate about the game could actually bring us all to a higher level. And that's one of the things that I'm finding interesting in organisations. The way that we tend to work is to use KPIs, which are probably set at a level above the role that we have. And those KPIs may not really reflect the core activities that I need to undertake to get to my KPIs. So if I looked at my KPIs almost like a scoreboard, underneath that, for me to be able to achieve that, I need to be doing certain activities. If I could actually have my own personal dashboard that lets me say, hey, you know what, having more of these types of meetings or doing presentations like that, or, the more I do video blogs, the more opportunities I get, and that helps me achieve my KPIs, is something that I think organisations can really learn from. And one great example of an organisation that really looks and works much more like a gaming community is a company called LiveOps. LiveOps ostensibly is a virtual contact centre. The company has a platform and what they call an agent desktop, and individuals sign up as agents, and over time, as they start to answer customer queries and get great feedback or start to share knowledge within the community, they build a level of, I suppose, notoriety and expertise and endorsement about what they're best at. And when calls come in or contacts come in that are related to what they're really good at, those calls get routed to them. There's an incentive to actually share more knowledge, because the higher your kudos is around a certain topic or task or interaction, the more likelihood is that call will be routed to you and you get paid for it. But we've also seen within the LiveOps community, people who participate in the community but are much more interested in that social context of helping others. So when we have a look at gamification, as we often talk about it, I actually think there's more than just the badges and the leaderboards. It's this whole notion of collaborating because we're passionate about something, we want to help each other, and we want to ensure that rather than just going through a learning curve where we sort of get traction, go up fast and then perhaps plateau, that the performance improvement across our whole organisation can just continue to grow exponentially. So I think organisations really should start to think about what can I learn from gaming communities and how can I apply it to business? Because as the world moves from this notion of sort of scalable efficiency to the capacity to scalably learn, if you like, and scalably implement new ideas and processes and procedures to keep pace with the rapidly changing world, gaming communities are the place that you can really learn a lot from.